God hates fags. We've all seen the signs being waved high in the air by members of the Westboro Baptist Church. It's kind of hard not to take notice. Over the years, I've watched never-ending hatred spill across the airwaves from those belonging to that church. They've made a seedy name for themselves by doing things like picketing beneath atrocious signs and hosting anti-gay protests at military funerals. Almost every person of nearly every religion has no problem loathing and condemning the Westboro Baptist Church and its members, and maybe with a good reason. They take freedom of speech far beyond what our founding fathers intended when they fought to give us that right, and they laugh at the rest of us while they do. But today I don't really want to talk about those idiots. I want to talk about you and me and my friend who I'll call Jacob. Jacob is 27 years old, and guess what? He's gay. Not a lot of people know. He lives in a community where being gay is still very frowned upon. I was talking to him on the phone a few weeks ago, telling him about my failed attempts at writing this. He was trying not to get emotional, but eventually he kind of did as we talked about the problem that I'm going to discuss with you today. Now, before I go on, I feel like I must say something one time. This message is not about homosexuality. It's not about Christians. It's not about religion. It's not about politics. It's about something else altogether, something greater, something simpler. It's about love. It's about kindness. It's about friendship. And love, kindness, and friendship are three things that Jacob hasn't felt in a long time. He gave me permission to share our conversation with you. It went something like this. I said, Jacob, I honestly don't know how to write this message out. I know what I want to get across, but I can never seem to find the right words. He said, Dan, you need to write it. Don't give up. I'm telling you, it needs to be said. You don't understand, I told him. It's much too heated a subject. It's something people are very emotional and touchy about. I'd be lynched. He hesitated. Dan, you are the only friend I have that knows I'm gay. The only freaking one, he said. What do you mean? I know you've told other friends, I told him. That's when his voice cracked a little. He actually began crying. Every single person I've told has ditched me, he said. They just disappear. They stop calling. They remove me on Facebook. They're just gone. They can't handle knowing and being friends with a gay person. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't really say anything. He kept going. You don't know what it's like, man. You don't know what it's like to live here and be gay. You don't know what it's like to have freaking nobody. You don't know what it's like to have your own parents hate you and try and cover up your existence. I didn't choose this. I didn't want this. And I'm so tired of people hating me for it. I can't take it anymore. I just can't. As a friend, how do you respond to that? I wanted to tell him it was all in his head. I knew it wasn't. I wanted to tell him it would get better and easier, but the words would have been hollow, and I knew it. You see, I live in this community too. I've heard the hate. I've heard the disgust. I've heard the disdain and the gossip and the distrust. I've heard the anger. I've heard it all, and I've heard it tucked and disguised neatly beneath a wrapper of self-righteousness and a blanket of caring and religious words. I've heard it more times than I care to number. About gay people, people who dress differently, about people who act differently, about fat people, people with drug addictions, people who smoke, people with addictions to alcohol, people with eating disorders, people who fall away from their faiths, people who aren't members of the dominant local religion, about people who have non-traditional piercings, about people who just look at you or me the wrong way. I've heard it, and I've heard it over and over and over again. Hell, in the past and to some degree in the present, I participated in it. I propagated it. I smugly took part in it. I'll admit that. And I did so under the blanketing term Christian. I did so believing that my actions were somehow justified because of my beliefs at the time. I did so actually believing that such appointments were done out of love. This isn't just a phenomenon where I live. I've lived outside of this place. I've worked outside of this place. It was just as bad in Denver. It was just as bad in California. I see it on blogs. I hear it on TV shows and radio programs. I hear it around my own family's dinner table. usually said so passively, so sneakily, and so righteously from Christians, from Buddhists, from Hindus, from Muslims, from Jews. God hates fags. God hates addicts. God hates people who shop at the Salvation Army. God hates people that aren't just like me. Sure, people may not be holding up picket signs and marching around in front of TV cameras, but come on. Why is it that so many incredible people who have certain struggles, problems, or their own beliefs of what is right and wrong feel so hated? Why do they feel so judged? Why do they feel so loathed? What undeniable truth must we all eventually admit to ourselves when such is the case? Now, I'm not religious. I'm also not gay, but I'll tell you right now that I've sought out religion. I've looked for what I believe truth to be. For years I studied trying to find it. Every major religion had good selling points to me. Every major religion, if I rewound far enough, had some pretty incredible base teachings from some pretty incredible individuals. Check this out and feel free to correct me if I get this wrong. According to Christians, Jesus said, love one another. He also said, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Her being a woman who cheated on her man. According to Buddhists, Buddha taught that hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule, he said. According to Hindus, it was said, love means giving selflessly, excluding none, and including all. According to Muslims, Muhammad taught, a true Muslim is one who does not defame or abuse others. But the truly righteous becomes a refuge for humankind. And according to Judaism, their scriptures say that we should examine the contents, not the bottle. Wow. The greatest spiritual leaders in history have all preached love for others as the basis for all happiness, and never did they accompany such mandates with a list of unlovable actions or deeds. They never said, love everybody except for the gays, love everybody except for the homeless, love everybody except for the drug users, the gang members, those covenanting, the spouse abusers. They didn't tell us it was okay to love everybody with the exception of the trailer trash, those living in poverty, or illegal immigrants. They didn't tell us it was okay to love everybody except for our ex-lovers, our lovers' ex-lovers, or our ex-lovers' lovers. The mandate was pretty damn clear, wasn't it? Love others, period. So if this is the founding directive of all the major religions, why is it that sometimes the most Christ-like people are they who have no religion at all? Let me repeat that. Why is it that sometimes the most Christ-like people are they who have no religion at all? I have known a lot of people in my life, and I can tell you this. Some of the ones who understood love better than anyone else were those who the rest of the world had long before measured as lost or gone. Some of the people who were able to look at the dirtiest, the poorest, the gays, the straights, the drug users, those in recovery, the basest of sinners, and those who were just plain different. They were able to look at them all and only see strength, beauty, potential, hope. And if we boil it down, isn't that what love actually is? Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of incredible Christians too. I know some incredible Buddhists, some incredible Muslims, some incredible Jews, some incredible Hindus. I know a lot of amazing people devout in their various religions who truly love the people around them. I also know some atheists, agnostic, and religionless people who are absolutely hateful of believers. They detest their religious counterparts. They love only those who believe or don't believe the same things they do. No, the truth is, having a religion doesn't make a person love or not love others. It doesn't make a person accept or not accept others. Religion doesn't make a person befriend or not befriend others. Being without a religion doesn't make somebody do or be any of that either. No, what makes somebody love, accept, and befriend their fellow man is letting go of a need to be better than others. Nothing else. I know there are many people here who believe that living a homosexual life is a sin. Okay, but what does that have to do with love? I repeat, what does that have to do with love? Come on, don't we understand? Don't we get it? To put our arm around someone who is gay, someone who has an addiction, someone who lives a different lifestyle, someone who is not what we think they should be, doing that has nothing to do with enabling them or accepting what they do as okay by us. It has nothing to do with encouraging them in their practice of what you or I might feel or believe is wrong versus right. It has everything to do with being a good human being, a good person, and a good friend. That's it. To put our arm around somebody who is different. Why is that so hard? I'm not here to say homosexuality is a sin or isn't a sin. To be honest, I don't give a rip. I don't care. I'm not here to debate whether it's natural or genetic. Again, I don't care. Those debates hold no encumbrance for me. What I care about is the need so many of us have to shun and loathe others. The need so many of us have to feel better than or superior to others. The need some of us have to declare ourselves right and perfect all the freaking time and any chance we have. And for some of us, those are very real needs. But I will tell you this, all it really is, all any of it really is bullying. Sneakful, hurtful, duplicitous bullying. Well, guess what? There are things we all do or believe that other people consider sinful. There are things we all do or believe that other people consider wrong. There are things we all do or believe that would disgust or anger others. Yes, but I have the truth, you may declare. Okay, whether you do or not. I promise you, it doesn't matter what you believe, how strongly you live your beliefs, or how true your beliefs are. Somebody else somewhere thinks you are in the wrong. Somebody else somewhere thinks your beliefs are senseless or illogical. Somebody else somewhere thinks you have it all wrong. In fact, there are a lot of people in this world who do. We each understand that. We already know that. It's the world we live in, and we're not naive. We're not stupid. We get it. Yet we expect and want love anyway. We expect and want understanding anyway. We expect and want tolerance. We expect and want humanity. We expect and want respect for our beliefs. Even from those who don't believe the same things we do. Even from those who think we're wrong, unwise, or incorrect. We expect all of that from people who disagree with us and who disagree with our lifestyles and beliefs because, let's be honest, nothing we do is actually bad enough to warrant disgust, anger, hatred, or cold shouldering, right? None of the ways in which we live our lives would warrant such behavior, right? None of our beliefs are worthy of the ugliness from others, right? No, we're all perfect. Freaking amazingly, impossibly perfect. But the gays, well, shoot. You know what I think? Let this sink in for just a minute. I think it doesn't matter if you or I or anybody else thinks homosexuality is a sin. It doesn't matter if you or I think anything is a sin. It doesn't matter if homosexuality is a sin or not. In fact, it doesn't matter if anything anybody else does is a sin or not. Because sin is a personal thing. It always has been, and it always will be. And it has nothing to do with love. Absolutely nothing. Disparity and difference have nothing to do with love. We shouldn't choose who we will love and who we won't. I'm Christian unless you're gay. That's the message we're sending, you know. I'm Christian unless I'm hotter than you. I'm Christian unless I'm uglier than you. I'm Christian unless I found out you cheated on your taxes. I'm Christian unless you cut me off in traffic. I'm Christian unless you fall in love with the person I once fell in love with. I'm Christian unless you're the guy who smells like crap on the subway. I'm Christian unless you have a different religion. I'm Christian unless you're anything that's not me. Oh, but wait, you're not gay? You're clean and well-dressed and you have a job? You look the way I think you should look? You act the way I think you should act? And I'm definitely a Christian. To you today, I'm a Christian. You've earned it. I bet you've heard that message coming from others. Maybe you yourself have given that message to others. Either way, I hope we can all agree today that we mustn't live that message. We just can't. But so many of us do. And we do it all the time. For some of us, it might as well be tattooed across our necks and foreheads. Maybe not in those words, but the message is clear to those who hear and those who are listening. The message has been very clear to my friend Jacob. Every single person I've told has ditched me, he told me. They just disappear. They stop calling. They can't handle knowing I'm being friends with a gay person. Jacob is a good friend of mine. He's my brother. He's a damn good human being. He's absolutely incredible. He's also gay. But why does that make any difference at all? It doesn't. Not to me. And I wish with everything inside of me that it didn't make any difference to you. I wish we didn't all have to find ways that we're better than others or more holy and saintly than others in order to feel better about our own messy selves. I wish people wouldn't cluster entire groups of people together and declare the whole lot unworthy of any love and respect. But that is the point of such thinking, isn't it? I mean, it's simpler that way. It makes it easier for us to justify our thoughts, our words, our prejudices. All these people become clumped together, and in the process, they somehow become less than human. They become unworthy of our love. And what a great thing it is when that happens, right? I mean, it helps us free ourselves from the very directives that have been passed down for millennia from the greatest teachers and philosophers in all of history. It makes our rationalization for hatred, bigotry, and abhorrence so easily justifiable, so maskable, so right. It gives us the golden chance to look at ourselves and not be disgusted by what the glass reflects back at us. And sadly and ultimately, it pushes us to that point where we no longer have any sort of arm to put around people like Jacob. We no longer have a hand to offer our fellow human beings. We no longer even have a need to. And why would we? Why the hell should we? Unless that is, we actually want to live what we all so often claim that we believe. Please, this has to stop. We have to put our ugly picket signs down. We have to be the examples that help make it happen in our lives and in the lives of the people around us. We have to be that voice. We each must be that voice. We must tell others that we will not accept or listen to such hurtful and hateful sentiments. We must show love where love right now does not exist. Will you join me? My request to you is really simple. Today, tomorrow, next week, find somebody, anybody that's different than you. Somebody that has made you feel ill will or even hateful. Somebody whose life and their decisions have made you uncomfortable. Somebody who practices a different religion than you do. Somebody who has been lost to addiction. Somebody with a criminal past. Somebody who dresses below you. Somebody with disability. Somebody who lives an alternative lifestyle. Somebody without a home. Somebody that you, until now, would always avoid, always look down on, and always be disgusted by. Reach your arm out and put it around them. And then tell them they're all right. Tell them they have a friend. Tell them you love them. If you or I want to make a change in this world, that's where we're going to be able to do it. That's where we'll start. Every single time. Because what you'll find, and I promise you this, is that the more you put your arm around those that you might naturally look down on, the more you will love yourself. And the more you love yourself, the less need you'll ever have to find fault or be better than others. And the less we all find fault or have a need to be better than others, the quicker this world becomes a far better place to live. And don't we all want to live in a better world? Don't we all want our kids to grow up in a better, less hateful, more beautiful world? I know I do. So let's be that voice. Let's offer that arm to others. Because the honest truth is, there's going to come a day when you or I are going to need that exact same courtesy. There's going to come a day when we are desperate for that same arm to be put around us. We'll be desperate for that same friendship. We'll be desperate for that same love. Life will make sure of it for you, for me, for everyone. It always does. Because as it turns out, there's not a damn person on this earth who's perfect. I love you all. I know this video is long. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this message.